hours, so I'm just mentally completely pulling away from her, and I like that. I don't regret that. I feel like it's a very healthy reaction on my part. The first time it happened, I tried my best, and I feel like I just made myself seem more annoying to her or something, and I just made her pull away even more. And so I don't want a repeat of that. That would actually be the third time that happened, because there was one more time in the past, so I'm not playing those games. We are very friendly when we talk. On the surface, nothing has changed. We're still besties, but I don't know. I'm just not gonna initiate, I guess, anymore. I went on vacation recently, and she took care of our cat. When my boyfriend, my baby, and I, and my sister and her family went on vacation. So it's not like we're not actively friends, but she doesn't seem to want to initiate any meetups or anything, so I'm just letting it be. She did apologize for not being there for me, though, because she was like having her own troubles, but it is what it is. This other friend that disappeared on me when I needed her most, for 4 days, and then just reappeared like nothing happened. She just continued to call me, try to meet up, and she was very persistent, and I just kind of let it happen one day, because I just thought to myself, I can't bring myself to just, cut it off with her and just tell her what she did wrong, because I'm so non-confrontational and anxious, and so there is no point in just being, or having her be in this limbo, and so I told her, yeah, you can come over, and she came over, and turns out she's pregnant again, which is something she wanted to happen for a very long time. And she kind of just basically at first wanted to have a drink with me, because she knew she was kind of between babies and breastfeeding. She had this little window where she could drink, and she wanted to share that with me, but I did not return her calls or anything. And then she immediately got pregnant, and then she needed kind of someone to talk to and have a friend in her corner. And so basically, I was kind of in a situation where I could not just pull away from her. You don't just have your friend say to you that they're pregnant and just say, oh, but you didn't talk to me when my cat disappeared. It became water under the bridge, but I'm still resentful over it, I'm not gonna lie, and I'm trying to kind of have a boundary with her where I don't give her all the support in the world without receiving all the support in the world back. But she's kind of like relying on me, and she's constantly trying to meet up with me, and I mean, it's nice. It's a nice feeling being loved and needed, and she's very loving, and she's this like lovey-dovey type of person, but I feel like she could also give me a little bit more support, but I don't know how I come off. Many people have told me that I come off as someone who has everything under control and just this calm and blah blah blah, but I feel like she should know better, but whatever. It is what it is. I'm sorry if you hear this annoying ass noise outside. Then my other guy, best friend, also reached out to me after like a month of us not talking, and invited us to come over. And obviously I was more healed by this point, so I was like, yeah, whatever. We came over, and it was actually very fun, and he just has this like aura that is just very hypnotic, and you just can't help but love him. Like, he's a very charismatic person, and the way he treats his close friends is very, very loving, and the way he looks at you and was just nice seeing him, and I know that he's not the type of friend that's gonna support me, and that we're all, emotionally stunted in our ways. But yeah, I mean, he's good for like meeting up every couple of months or something. That's what he's good for, I guess. I'm just trying to keep people in their lane, or even more, keep myself in my lane with people. I'm trying to know where I stand and just not try to overstep, because it only leads to disappointment. But then sometimes people, such as this pregnant best friend, sometimes they get hurt by me pulling back, but then it's kind of their own fault, because I never just randomly, pull back from someone. But it's whatever. Honestly, I don't really care. I have enough social interaction. I feel like I'm yet again in this comfortable way of living where I have a lot of like superficial friends that I can engage with here and there, depending on what I want and what vibe I kind of want, and no one that I'm really deeply connected to. I feel comfortable this way, kind of, in all honesty. So yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm having like regular meetups with this friend and that friend. I'm just kind of trying to keep my social circle active. I counted that every 3 months I organize a party, so 4 times a year. It just seems like, 4 times a year is not that bad, but then you just feel like every 3 months, that's kind of very frequent. And so people also invite me over occasionally and this and that, so I'm just trying to be connected for many reasons, because I'm a social person, and also because I want my daughter to interact with other kids and to have friends, because I don't feel like I don't think that I will be having a second child. There are moments I feel like it's depending on my cycle. Most likely there are moments where I'm just craving a second baby, or more like I get so sad and regretful over the things I did wrong with my daughter, and over the happiness that was denied me. I just crave a happy, flourishing pregnancy where I'm loved and appreciated, and I feel taken care of, and where, I don't know, I know it's a fucking fairy tale, but I wish I tried more to have this fairy tale for myself. I kind of kept expecting other people to be more loving and attentive to me instead of just taking care of myself. I did not have a good pregnancy at all. I was very depressed and sad, and what's so weird to me now is that I was craving weed so much my whole pregnancy, but then now when I went on vacation, we did not have any weed with us, so I did not smoke for 6 days and nights straight, and I just didn't even think about it. Like, it was just a non-factor, and I kind of knew that it's gonna be this way. I don't know what changed. Obviously my mental health has gotten much better, so I think that's it. So I don't even fear sobriety anymore, but there's just the agony of birth, the agony of the pregnancy. I don't feel like going through all of that just to then be confronted with the reality that I have even less time for myself, even more overstimulation, even more moments where I dissociate and just crave loneliness and solitude. I don't know. Like, my daughter is so well behaved. She's such a sweetheart, and I love her. She's amazing. Like, I wish everyone had a baby like her, because there'll be a lot of happy parents around. But I'm just a weakling, and there's just something wrong with me where legs and just leaves my body. I don't know how to explain it. And it's very upsetting, and it has always been this way. And I kind of knew before I got pregnant that that would be a problem, just because I know myself. But I don't know. I don't feel like having a second child without having solved this problem first, which I don't know how to solve, is a good idea, because I don't want to be snapping at my daughter. I don't want to be snapping at the baby. I don't want to be overwhelmed and having fights with my boyfriend again, because we had a rough year after my baby came to this world, or maybe half a year, I don't remember anymore, but we fought a lot. Now we're barely fighting. We're very a great team, and he's amazing. As a father, as a partner, he's amazing. He always takes the biggest hit. He always sleeps less than all of us combined. He always works more. He always does the heavy lifting, and it's just, his support is amazing. Our daughter is completely obsessed with him. He's the mother and I'm kind of the dad, which is kind of how it's supposed to be, honestly. We would have been so much better off if our genders were reversed, and he could have 1,000 babies and I would be hopefully a good dad, but I wouldn't have to go through all that, pregnancy and birth, and he would just be a better fit for it. So it's very sad that we are the way that we are, because we would have probably have 3 children by now, if not more. I would love a second child, honestly. I feel like that would have made my family complete, but I don't know if I can do it, and I know I thought the same way about the first baby, but it's just such a gamble. It's so dangerous, and it just, I don't know. I'm fighting this demon almost every day, and now that girlfriends that I know are starting to get second, third babies, I'm just fuck. The last time around, I only agreed to making a baby. My cat says hi. I only agreed to making a baby because a bunch of my girlfriends got pregnant, so I was like, whatever, maybe the same thing will happen to me now, but I don't know. I just don't have any faith that my boyfriend has learned his lessons. I feel like he would be just not as extremely supportive as I would want him to be. I have a lot of trauma of being abandoned, of not even receiving flowers when I gave birth, of shit like that. And I know there are a lot of women that would have killed for a man like mine, because he is a good man, but he just does not know how to be, and I'm just gonna be honest, to be a little bit more showy, a little bit more showmanship, to his love would be nice. He does give me flowers every month and stuff like that, but when I was pregnant, I don't know what happened to him, and it made me so anxious that he'll be transforming into an asshole, as many men do. My whole pregnancy, I was in such fear of that, and so I was just losing my mind, and that made him even more distant. It was a very unhealthy, vicious circle. I don't want this to happen again. Maybe I have learned from it, but maybe the hormones will get me this time too, because it's not all just in our heads. The hormones really turn you into a different person, and I really have trouble with that. So I'm fighting this demon. Also, I really do need a lot of time for myself to kind of recover and just be on my own, and especially now after this vacation where I was never alone. My baby was always with us, everyone was always around me. I just felt so mentally drained and exhausted, and I feel like having 2 children will just guarantee that I will never have a free moment ever for the next God knows how many years, and it just destroys me. The thought is so painful. I need that time. I need my recovery period. I just need it. sibling, that I know people who are friends with their siblings. So I don't know if that's even worth it. I also want to be an old lady with her children and their families visiting, and her house being full of love and laughter. I feel like it's an investment in my future, but at what cost, At the cost of like the last days of my youth. I don't know, I can talk about it for hours and hours and hours because I'm just going in circles. Maybe you've noticed. It's very bad. My mind is just, I feel like my executive function that is responsible for decision making is just shot, and I'm just turning and turning and turning in circles. Yeah, it's bad. I need a push. Like, when I got pregnant, I just stopped thinking. I just did it and stopped thinking about it. That was the only way I could handle it. I don't know, but yeah, let's just whatever. And so I feel like that's about it. There are many other small things, but I don't know if they're worth even talking about. I've organized a great Christmas celebration for the kids at our place, which went very well. My boyfriend dressed as Santa, and my daughter was so scared of him, she started like crying at the sight of him, which was so funny. She did receive the gift though, don't get me wrong. Immediately stopped crying and received her gift, of course. But yeah, oh yes, also we have been sick for like a month straight. Like at first we had COVID. I don't know if my daughter had COVID, but we did. Then I feel like COVID kind of destroyed our health or like our immune system. And so we got like a bunch of other stuff from daycare, like an eye infection and a lung infection, or like, I don't know, maybe like a bronchitis. We were coughing and having like so much snot, like it was so gross for weeks and weeks and weeks. It endangered our vacation, it endangered our Christmas parties, which we went to several. It had me constantly be worried about my child, about myself, about my boyfriend, about the people we were meeting up with. I had to cancel a couple of events, and it was just a mess. And I don't know, I was so tired of being constantly sick and, taking care of a child. I don't know why I pronounce child weirdly like that, but whatever. Of course, every doctor in our city closed where my daughter's eyes got, infected the worst, so we had to wait for 3 hours in emergency care. Stuff like that. It was just every day there was something, and it's just never-ending cycle of some type of infection from this fucking daycare, from this fucking winter, like, and then all that, and then there's the pressure to buy gifts, to decorate, to celebrate Christmas, to be in a festive mood, and I'm just like, girl, I just wanna lay down and sleep. Like, I have to be a mother, I have to be a homemaker, I have to cook, I have to, do everything. My boyfriend, who is responsible for cleaning the apartment, was also sick, so it was just, nothing was as cozy and Christmassy as I would love for it to be, and it's always the same way. Like, this is why I hate the winter time. Like, you're supposed to